Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about how the Augment transfer passes work in the base game because I believe they're going to use it as the base model when porting it over to NGS. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to thank Renova as well as MKP for helping me with this because I actually forgot how you got these Augment transfer passes in the base game because I haven't played the base game in like almost 3 years. But nevertheless, this is what the Augment transfer passes look like. As you can see, it's like this little shiny looking ticket, and if we read the description, it says a pass that allows you to transfer augments. Transfer augments from material, weapons, and armor at the item lab, pass consumed at use. Now, before I show you how to use it, I'm going to talk about how we actually get these transfer passes to begin with. So in the base game, we have to come to the swap shop specialist over here, and right here under limited class EX Cube exchange shop, you can see these are where you get all of the Augment transfer passes. Now, I believe NGS is going to use the same system or something similar to this, where you are going to be encouraged to level up all your other classes and over level them in order to get the class EX cubes. Because as you can see over here, in order to get 10 of these Augment transfer passes, you need either Hunter, Ranger, or Force EX cubes times 2. However, you are limited to 10 per month in this category, but you can get another 10 if you level up your Fighter, Gunner, or Techer and gain more EX cubes over here, so you can exchange for another 10, and then you can exchange this a third time and a fourth time if you level up your Braver, Bouncer, Summoner, as well as your Hero, Phantom, Étoile, Luster. So there are 4 different categories over here to encourage you to play all these different classes and level them up. However, I do need to remind everyone again that you are limited to 10 per category. So that means, let's say that you play Hunter, Ranger, and Force. Unfortunately, you could only exchange 20 of the Hunter EX cubes or 20 of the Ranger EX cubes, because if you try to do both over here and you go exchange, it won't actually give you 20 Augment transfer passes, it's only going to give you 10. So as you can see over here, you have exceeded the maximum amount of exchangeable items, and it doesn't let me exchange it. However, if I just do the Hunter EX cubes over here, you know, I'm going to exchange 20 Hunter EX cubes for 10 of these passes, say yes, boom, done. However, I won't be able to exchange my Ranger cubes now. So that means you have to play all of the different classes and you have to over level to get all of these different class EX cubes in order to get the Augment transfer passes. But what's even more important is you are limited to 40 every single month. And this is the very important part. And the reason I say this is because when we come to Dudu, the legendary Dudu himself, we come over here and there is transfer augments, right? So we are just going to transfer 8 augments over here for the sake of the video, just as an example. I'm not actually going to be transferring them, so don't worry. But nevertheless, you can see here there are 8 slots. I can put in all 8 slots of my augments, or all 8 augments right here. And then I can do confirm. And right here you will see Augment transfer is about to begin. Are you sure you want to proceed? It's going to consume 2 million Meseta as well as 100 Augment transfer passes to transfer all 8 augments. Now it's a 100% chance, there is no gambling involved here. However, it requires 100 Augment transfer passes. Do you guys remember? We were limited to 40 every single month. So that means you're going to need to wait 3 months, or just do the exchange shop 3 months in order to get 120 of these Augment transfer passes so that you can transfer it for 1 piece of armor. All right. So this is how it is in the base game. So I am fully expecting the same system, the same time frame to be transferred into NGS. So just because we heard Augment transfer system is coming into NGS, oh my god, it's so great. Don't think that, oh, I should just fully invest into all of my armors now and I'll be able to transfer all of my augments to my new armor every time there's a new piece of armor that comes out or a new weapon that comes out. That will not be the case. You will be time gated in some sort of way, because that was how the base game worked. And I think they're gonna use a similar model over here. Now keep in mind, there is no pay to win method over here for the Augment transfer passes, at least in the base game. You were just hard time gated and there was nothing you could do. So augment transfer passes were incredibly valuable, and you really wanted to hold on to them and only use them for your very expensive, very big upgrades. That was pretty much the only reason you used the augment transfer passes. A lot of players actually only use this to transfer their guardian soul or their most endgame augments to their endgame armors, and that was pretty much the only reason they used these augment transfer passes. However, I do want to iterate over here that even though it did cost 100, that was an 8-slot armor. So that was an armor with 8 different augments. If you have less augments, it does cost less. Let's say we only want to transfer 5 augments. So over here, this is my Trailblazer Saber. It has 5 augments. We're gonna slap in some augments over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if we slap in 5 different augments, you can see that it only costs 15 augment transfer passes, which is significantly cheaper than the 100 that we saw before. And the main reason for this is because we're only transferring 5 augments instead of 8. So at the very beginning with NGS, I do think the augment transfer passes are going to be manageable. You know, it's not going to be super crazy, super expensive, because we haven't reached the end game yet. We're still constantly getting new gear. In the base game, the first example I showed you that cost 100 augment transfer passes, that is your true end game armor, fully maxed out, everything is done, and you're never going to need to upgrade again. That's why it cost 100 augment transfer passes, because it's your end all be all. However, in this case, you know, when NGS introduces the augment transfer passes, we're gonna be limited to the amount we earn. Maybe it's gonna be the same like the base game, maybe 40 or 50 every single month. However, I do think that transferring your augments isn't gonna be too crazy expensive in the beginning. However, I wanna caution everyone about the augment transfer system that you are gonna be time gated in some way. It's not like immediately once the system comes in, you're gonna be able to transfer all of your augments to your new armors, your new weapons, and you're gonna be able to do this for every single generation. I don't think that is gonna be a viable solution. I personally am mentally preparing myself to be able to augment transfer once every 6 months. That's pretty much my expectation because of the time gating on how we can get these augment transfer passes. So, you know, that's just my mental preparation. That's what I'm expecting. And so, you know, hopefully that will temper your expectations as well, because it does take time to get all of these augment transfer passes. You are going to need to play all these other classes, so forth and so on. But again, this is just how it works in the base game, so we don't know how it works in NGS yet. They might make it super easy, they might make it pay to win, they might do anything, you know, everything's up in the air. But I think that they are still going to copy the same system from the base game, and it's going to be almost identical to what we currently have, and so we are going to be time gated. That is what I am fully expecting.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!